It starts right now.
You're watching Fox 9 Morning News.
Got a busy morning, a lot to talk about. Good morning to you. Welcome to the 8 o'clock hour of the Fox 9 Morning News. Glad you're with us on this Friday. I'm Tom Butler.
And I'm Hannah Flood. Thank you for joining us and a lot to get to here. We've been telling you about these cold temperatures on the way. Right around the corner.
It's here.
It's here.
Yeah, it's here. We're going to stay kind of in this general zone the next really 24 hours before really diving in to the deep freeze as we get into Saturday afternoon through pretty much the rest of your weekend into early next week. We're back to regular scheduled programming, essentially. We've kind of missed out on January, the first 11 days, so we finally got there on the 12th day. Right now sitting at 7, which is perfectly seasonable for this time of the year. Bit of a breeze out of the north makes it feel like minus 10. You saw in White Bear Lake there even some thinner high clouds in some spots, so maybe even some pockets of filtered sunshine early this morning. It's possible, especially north of the metro. Watching the snow, trying to get into portions of southern Minnesota, getting eaten by dry air at the moment. This may be a sign of things to come. We're going to have to watch this closely, may have to continue to adjust the forecast as this storm has been, well, pain in my side, to say the least. But certainly snowing across southeastern Minnesota, some light snow from Owatonna to Rochester, as Bill will show you here in a second, and up and down the I-90 corridors. Waiting for this to lift northward, should eventually do just that. Get some flakes and flurries in here about the lunch hour, then maybe commit to some straight up light snow by mid to late afternoon. So here's your morning checklist. January finally arriving. I realize it's January 12th, but you get the general gist here. It's finally going to feel more like it. After a colder start, we'll start off nice and quiet. The light snow will arrive, especially here in the metro and points eastward and southward. But to say the storm has been squirrely is the more appropriate term for it, at least in my personal perspective. As, 2-3 days ago, things started to change. It looked like we were getting a bunch of snow. Now we're leveling off a little bit on just how much we can get because of the dry air that we can finally see and kind of work through some of the things as this storm system wraps up to 2 areas of our east. This was never expected to be a blockbuster snow for us. Very much the heavy snow staying across portions of Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and Nebraska, but we're still likely to get something out of this. We'll just see how much. Either way, even if we don't get a whole lot of snow, that is not going to hurt the upcoming cold. It's going to be a windy few days, and with temperatures continuing to fall, it's the nose-crunching cold, painfully cold weather tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, and likely into Tuesday as well. We'll talk more about that. We'll start it up again here at 8:09.
Yeah, dangerous kind of cold.
Yeah,
Thank you, Cody.
Thank you, Cody. Yeah, we all knew the mild winter really couldn't last the whole season.
We're living large for a while there, and as we just heard from Cody, that major winter storm is headed our way. Bill Keller, he's heading south of the metro right now on our Fox 9 weather tracker, keeping an eye on the roads. Tell us what's like there. I believe you're in Rochester. Good morning, Bill.
Yeah, in fact, we are right downtown, not too far from Mayo Clinic. In fact, we see a lot of cleanup. You can see that wet road in front of us. That has been well salted. The sidewalks have already been cleared. A lot of the snow, though, that is down on the pavement, it pretty much just being trampled. They've probably gotten half an inch to maybe an inch of snow here. The wind really making for blowing and drifting when it was dark out. Visibility very challenging on the interstates. We're in a bit of a dry slot right now, so it's kind of a small reprieve as far as how MnDOT deals with this when it comes to these very cold temperatures. Ann Myers says there's not a whole lot they can do.
And we can use materials out there, but it's just going to take longer for that material to work when we're dealing with these extreme cold temperatures. So if drivers keep that in mind, you're going to see some slick spots out there. Even if roads look okay for a little while, it doesn't, it doesn't take much to create a slick spot out there. So we want you to always be alert, to be distraction free behind the wheel, and just be ready to react. Slow down, keep a good distance between yourself and other drivers. Those factors can really make a big difference for you out there.
Yeah, and certainly give those plows plenty of room. In fact, while she was speaking, we saw an armada of snow plows, the wing blades down, the front plows down, clearing the streets. It's down here in the southeast part of the state, and as Cody says, it'll eventually make it to the metro. Back to you guys.
Right. Bill, thanks so much. Fox Local will have full team coverage for you this morning from noon to 5 today. You can tune in for free. You can search right there on your TV. Just search Fox Local and select Fox 9.
In other news this morning, a former Minnesota mayor is behind bars, and the U of M campus is back to normal operations after threats led to a standoff hours away from the metro. This started at 7 yesterday morning. An alert went out to staff and students about threats to shoot people on campus. Police say those threats were posted on a landscaping company's Facebook page. The business belongs to 41-year-old Joseph Rongstad, the former mayor of the city of Watson, Minnesota. That's about 2.5 hours west of Minneapolis. Around 1 p.m., the Chippewa County Sheriff's Office had Rongstad's home surrounded, and that led to more threatening posts on that landscaping Facebook page and an hours-long standoff. Then just before 5 last night, he was finally taken into custody. Police say he has a criminal history and mental health and substance abuse problems.
8:06 is the time. A New York judge says he will have a ruling by the end of this month in connection to the civil fraud case against former President Donald Trump.
Now, even though he was barred from giving a formal closing argument, the former president still managed to get his message across, calling the proceedings, quote, a fraud on me. Kelly O'Connell joins us from the Live Center this morning with the details. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning. As the trial was wrapping up yesterday, the former president was allowed to speak in court. He spoke for about 6 minutes, attacking the charges, the investigation, the trial, all those involved. He was eventually cut off by the judge, but then he continued later outside of the courtroom, proclaiming his innocence.
They don't have any facts. They don't have any evidence against us.
Well, see, my legal issues, every one of them, everyone, civil and the criminal ones, are all set up by Joe Biden, crooked Joe Biden. We have our best poll numbers. We have the best everything despite this, and maybe because of this.
The former president being sued over allegedly inflating financial statements and deceiving banks. He has repeatedly said this is a political witch hunt aimed at keeping him out of the 2024 presidential election. Trump accused the New York Attorney General of using the trial to get publicity for her own re-election. Also claimed that the judge, along with who you just heard, President Joe Biden, he says they're all working together on this. Now, if Trump is found guilty, he would no longer be able to do business in the state of New York and would face millions of dollars in fines. All of this coming just days before the Iowa caucuses on Monday. Despite the legal drama, Trump remains the leading GOP candidate. And in the next half hour, we're speaking with anchor of Fox News Sunday, Shannon Bream, about what this looks like going forward, and if any other candidate can change that and close the gap leading into Monday and in Iowa. Guys, back to you.
Right, we know it will still be bitter cold on that Monday. All right, Kelly, thank you. Kelly O'Connell in our Live Center.
Time now is 8:08, and it is Friday, so we're dancing later. We want you to vote on our Fox 9 poll to choose the song we're dancing to today. We have a couple of throwbacks as options. The choices are Hey Ya by Outkast and Timber by Pitbull featuring Kesha.
Yeah, Timber.
I had to sing these songs for the guys in the studio this morning.
What?
They didn't. How you not know Kesha?
Or Hey Ya.
Outkast.
Yeah. Great song. Those would be good ones. It looks like Hey Ya right now, and we're going to be saying Hey Ya, it's really cold this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Ya.
Hey Ya, Cody.
Oh yeah,
great.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I just have to point, you've been showing this map all morning. There's so much happening on this map. This is like, I feel like what your brain looks like right now. Just
Something like that,
words,
yeah.
numbers, colors.
I don't think you want to see what my brain looks like
No,
most of the time.
Probably not.
Oh man. It's something. I can't even come up with words.
That's what your brain
It's a carnival up there somewhere. Right now, yes, there is a lot happening, but it's mostly due with the combination of a bunch of things, which is why there's so many things on this map. Yes, we're still expecting some accumulating snow, though totals coming down a little bit, or at least expected totals, because of some dry air. There will still be some blowing and drifting snow. It's going to be the light powdery stuff, so it doesn't take much to kind of blow it all over the place and create some visibility and travel concerns, especially in open areas. And that's the main reason why these advisories are around and some of the winter storm warnings are around as well. The highest totals will stay across southeastern Minnesota. 5+ inches expected essentially from Red Wing south and eastward. Parts of the hills right along Mississippi River could get 8+ in some cases, but that's generally limited. Most of us in our viewing area will see somewhere between, say, 1 and 4 inches. Maybe it'll squeeze out a little more on the southeast side of the Twin Cities Metro if all things come together appropriately. Western Minnesota, maybe 1 inch, maybe 2. We'll see just how much the dry air kind of undercuts some of our flurry activity. Certainly, certainly leading to some falling apart snowflakes across southeastern Minnesota. We got a good surge, and then it's going to kind of fade. And then we should get another good surge as it rolls towards the Twin Cities metro and kind of fade a little bit as this continues to roll its way in very, very slowly. We've seen some flakes about as far north as Faribault, maybe Northfield, and that's generally been about it. So still likely some off and on light flakes up and down the Highway 14 corridor to just about Mankato to Owatonna over through Rochester. That will stay across the I-90 corridor. There's your current visibility. Right now, 3/4 mile visibility in Rochester, which would indicate some moderate snows. Light snows from Owatonna over through Eau Claire, actually reporting a bit of light snow at the moment as well as this gradually lifts off to the north. That's where temperatures are generally in the teens, single digits in the Twin Cities, 7 right now in the metro, 9 in Faribault, 2 above in Cambridge. Some sub-zero readings across northern Minnesota. It is very, very cold. Meanwhile, we zoom out. There you go. There's the bulk of the heavy snow. Looks like it's starting to redevelop and reform right along the I-80 corridor. This should continue to gradually lift northward as our area low pressure goes something